Shalom, this is YAHAWAH with the GMS Dallas camp. First off, I want to give all praises to YAHAWASHI, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, teach and rule well, and salutations to the Akim scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, keeping this truth in sincerity. I just want to go into a quick topic, pretty much going into how the Most High reveals the mysteries of the scriptures to whoever who it is his will is it will be given unto, if that makes any sense, and I want to start off with Proverbs chapter 1. I'm going to start off at verse 3. Well, actually, I'll just start off at the top. Verse 1. The Proverbs of Solomon, the son of David, king of Israel. To know wisdom and instruction, to perceive the words of understanding, to receive the instruction of wisdom, justice, and judgments, and equity, to give subtlety to the simple, to the young man knowledge and discretion. Right? A wise man will hear and will increase learning, and a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsels. Because for example, you have somebody that in school that's trying to learn something, a certain subject. For example, you have math. He's going to listen to his professor, which is that, that wise counsel, because he knows what he's talking about, so he's going to listen to him, just like you have brothers on the other side of the camp, who listen to that wise counsel, which is the brothers who are out there preaching that word, and a man of understanding shall attain to wise counsel, to understand a proverb, the interpretation, the words of the wise, because that's ultimately how you are able to understand certain interpretations, certain things in these scriptures, by having somebody who does know how to break it down teach you. That's just like we read in the verse before. That's why you need to attain to wise counsels. Not just go off and make your own interpretation just because you think that that's what it means. The Most High revealed the scriptures, to men of the Lord who will be able to take it and receive it and teach others. Continuing this, the words of the wise and their dark sayings, and what are those dark sayings, these scriptures, these different parables, different things that really need to be taught to people in order for them to understand what it really means, just like, Yahawashi said in, I believe it was Matthew 13, let me get it real quick. Because not everybody is going to be able to get this word. You might have, you might have certain people that are taught, and then they might not, and they still might not understand it. Even though you break it down to them, to in the simplest terms, they still might not get it. And that's because the Most High doesn't want them to get it. And it was only given up to a certain amount of men, a certain amount of people to really understand these dark sayings, And Yahawashi gave the ultimate example in Matthew chapter 13, right? I'm going to start off at verse 10. And the disciples came and said unto him, Why speakest thou unto them in parables? So they asked him, why do you speak, in these riddles and these dark sayings? And there's a reason why he spoke that way. Because, he doesn't want everybody to get it. He doesn't want everybody to get it. because it's not meant for everybody to get it, you know. Verse 11. He answered and said unto them, because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given, you know. It wasn't given to them to understand, you know. You're going to have some people out here, who might pass by and might listen, and they're like, oh, okay, this is a little too much. I don't really agree to it with what they're saying, and that's the Most High, putting that block, putting that veil on them, not to understand these things, because there's one in Jeremiah, as a matter of fact. I don't know, I think it's Isaiah, chapter 6. Where it's where the Lord was talking to Jeremiah. I mean, so like it's Isaiah, and Isaiah was like, the Lord told Isaiah, make the ears of these people fat, and Isaiah was like, for how long? Yeah, I'll get it real quick. Okay, chapter 6, verse 9, right, Isaiah. And he said, go and tell this people, hear ye indeed, but understand not, and see ye indeed, but perceive not, right? Which is what we have going on in those out there in the streets, they see and they hear, but they really don't understand, Verse 10, make the heart of this people fat, and make the ears heavy, and shut their eyes, lest they see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and understand with their heart, and convert and be healed. So Most High doesn't want these people to get it. Verse 11, this is the one I was talking about. Then said I, Lord, how long? And he answered, until the cities be wasted without inhabitant, and the houses without man, and the land be utterly desolate. So, and that word desolate has this little side note here that says desolate with this solation. But yeah, the Most High, He's gonna keep them blinded, keep keep their mind in that delusion, or with that veil, that covering, so they don't understand these scriptures until He comes back, and destroys His place, because ultimately most of these people here aren't gonna get it. They're not meant to get it, Only those few select men who are going to be able, or who was given to understand, And that's all I wanted to get into, just a quick topic. And with that, Shalom.